But I can't find a picture of that stuff, and I can't find a description that makes sense. So I draw these things out, right? Bailing the head of a whale, what does it actually look like? Fishing a mast, you know. Taking every possible permutation of a six-sided die and making a die, right? So there's 30 some odd dice there, all of them with a different arrangement of the sides, right? Every die, there's the size total 7 if you add up the two opposite sides. This is so hard to explain. So the 1 and the 6 are on opposite sides. Well, what if I take the 1 and the 6 and I put them side by side and then rearrange everything? And then I do that for every possible permutation of the 6 sides of the cube, right? And it's on a pedestal, so you know this is art. And if you're still doubting, like, hey, anyone can go buy a pedestal, there's a didactic, right? That little panel with text that says, hey dude, it's a pedestal and a didactic, so it's definitely art. Show your work. It's incredibly hard to figure out the combinations of the cube, right? To figure out which numbers go where. So I have reams of paper of me trying to figure this out, because I'm dumb. I mean, look in the upper right, upper left. I have to make little things. And finally I had to actually go and make little wooden cubes and literally draw each one and grid them off. A gallery show. Look, there's the dice. See, there are really. And then if you look over there, that's not what it looked like on the wall. But a running theme to the show about learning from other people, learning from other artists, learning from old masters. And there was a didactic about that on this wall, which was charmingly funny, but I don't remember what it said. So this is an Errol Otis cover of the expert rules, which I grew up with. When I spoke to Errol Otis on the phone about this other project, I really almost fainted. I was actually doing the having to defend myself thing, and I had never done that before my whole life. It was really neat to know what screaming girls do at concerts. These are the 3 photographs on the wall over there. I made portraits of my Burning Wheel dice. Burning Wheel uses 6-sided dice. I've had these dice for years and years and years. They ride with me in my bag. As a guy participating in an art show about role-playing games, this was me making kind of a statement about role-playing games and saying, look, the D20 is Dungeons & Dragons, but I'm this guy. I'm an indie gamer, you know. Flip my hair back. So there we go. And these are studies of arrangements of dice I made when I'm fiddling with my dice while I'm playing the game. I made a conscious effort to start stopping and saying, what did I just do with my dice? Is it interesting? I'll make a note of it. These are studies for other things. I realized that nowadays I actually take the dice and I lock them up in my hands in interesting ways. So that was part of me recording, doing studies for what might wind up in the show. And I'm done with my artwork. Can I introduce it really fast?
Yes.
Okay, so I know I just thought I was done, but I'm tricky. This is, again, I want to add to the game world. I want to help other gamers make good games. So this was a background, prop video I made for the zombie game, which I was describing. This was just running on a monitor. It's a fake CNN news feed, and it looped. And this is available for anybody who wants it. So if people need to make a zombie game and they need a zombie clip, they can go and take this from Tim, and I will give it to them. And it's all generated by me for this. So it's all, it's no stealing. Because I make art, I don't steal art. And that's it. Thank you.
So let's do, I've got a question for the artists, and then let's take a question from the audience. And we'll try to make both of these happen really quickly, because we're already sort of running over time. If you play a Dungeons & Dragons game with me, I will also let the players talk for a really long time, because I think they're awesome. And so it's been wonderful listening to you guys talk, and I want to do more of that, but I also want to give you guys a chance to ask a question. The question that I want to ask is, why is it, my original question was, why are there so many shows that have Dungeons & Dragons content, that have role-playing content right now? And listening to your stories, it sounds like part of that question is also, why are you at this particular stage right now? Why is there a confluence of interest in the subject matter and then also your own personal development coming at that angle? field this as a group?
I think Smith. Zach. I'm sorry. I'm looking for the zombies. Good.
It's
No.
too distracting.
Zach Smith was talking about the fact that you know, back in the day there was a common, like, shared knowledge of the classics that people would know when they were making artwork, and so for a lot of people that's why you get so many paintings or whatnot with like classic Roman or classic Greek type of themes going on. When the fact where the classics for us are more like we were saying, like 80s was the birth of like good culture, so the classics for us are more pop oriented. So like, you know, for each one of us, we all know what a beholder looks like more than we know like all the various like breakdowns of like the Greek tragedies and whatnot. And so I kind of think that formulates the background for a shared cultural understanding about what's going on.
I'm going to try and keep my curmudgeonliness good-natured. But I think too, but the thing too is Keynes, right, is also part of everything that everybody knows. And when people are remaking Keynes paintings, that's the big eye guy, right? Keynes? Okay, sorry, I'm bad at this. When people are remaking Keynes paintings, they're not saying, look, we're sharing a deep, rich heritage. We all have this shared, you know, this thing. They're saying, haha, look at this. And that actually is why I get puffy and angry when so many people make Dungeons and Dragons-based work, is that it's about nostalgia. It's about saying, it's ironic, it's about nostalgia. There's so much work that's about saying, hey, look at this. And that really makes me angry because this is like a precious thing. I don't care, you know, I like Donald Judd, but I won't fight you for him. But, you know, if you start making D&D work that I think is, you know, just making D&D work, just being cool nostalgia, I'll punch you in the stomach. Unless you're taller than me. Does that make sense, though? That there's so much, I mean, there's so much nostalgia that people do, and I don't think deploying nostalgia is a useful
Being
word
disingenuous about what they're depicting, or like, you know, showing, like, kind of being more exploitive than like
Being
supportive.
ironic. Being irony is tough.
Well, what's so bad about nostalgia?
I remember I used to like nostalgia. It's hard because nostalgia is fine, but I think a lot of people who deploy nostalgia, it's like I have to approve each and every piece that people are making this nostalgia to make sure there's no irony in it. You know, it has to pass the TIM Board of Certification, and I don't know what's wrong with nostalgia, but there's shared meaning versus haha look at this, you know, and
but I think that, I don't know, I might say that and I will also try to keep my curmudgeonliness tamped down, but I feel like that's what to be very, very general, I think that's what the art world knows how to do, because for so long, I feel like there's been, the foremost criterion for quality in contemporary art, within mainstream contemporary art, I think is criticality. And so I think there's an assumption that if you do not have a critical relationship to your subject, that somehow your work is complicit in, you know, some kind of, borderline totalitarian ideology that you don't even know you're participating in. And, I think that D&D in and of itself is kind of, it's a synthesis, right? Like, I mean, Tavis can probably talk, more expertly about this than I can, but my understanding is that, there's Gary Gygax and a couple of friends of his who enjoyed playing other games, and they, sort of took what they liked about these games and expanded upon them and made something new, And I feel like they never would have gotten there if they shared the assumptions, I think, of a significant, again, being very general, a very, significant portion of the contemporary art world, which assumes a kind of critical relationship, right?